And we're live.
All right, all right, all right. Back after 2 week vacation.
Sure.
It's a 2 week vacation, and you had something 1 week, and I absolutely blanked on it last week.
And we're out next week.
And we're out next week. I thought about seeing if we could do one like virtual, like we're each in different areas, but then I'm like, I don't know what my baseball schedule is next week.
Yeah, I don't. Wednesday, I am in like a dead zone next week so I don't know how much.
How much internet you'll
Yeah,
have?
I don't know if we could successfully pull that off. We could try.
Where are you going?
I'll be in Texas. I'll be in a little town called Murchison, Texas.
I have never heard of Murchison.
It's near Tyler. I'll be visiting my parents.
Oh, fun
So.
stuff.
We'll be there. But in being in the little town of Murchison, Texas, they have little to no service. So, that's always a blast.
It does not sound like a metropolis. So.
Yeah, well, it's out there. It's out there.
I'm going to the beach with everybody else in the state of Alabama. We have a baseball tournament.
Yep.
I'm sharing. I'm talking and sharing, and I can't do two things at once. But look at that. There it is.
Man, like a pro.
Like a pro.
That's the fastest you've ever done it.
It is. We're on week 14, and I'm just now. I feel like
13
the
or
Michael
14.
Berry show. Papa Top. It's Coke Zero though.
Yeah.
You just nodded your head at me.
Okay. Whatever you need to get through, I guess.
Hey, she just asked me. She's like, "It takes you 2 Cokes to get through this," and I'm like, "It takes me 2 Cokes to get through every day." I'm like, but this Coke is better than the Coke. And never mind. Go.
Da, da, da. But
Since I blew in here with 20 seconds left, I'm good.
now,
Let's do it.
so we have done a draft. We have done keeper cut.
Yep.
And you remember the old school games of $15 make your teams? Well, I have $15 school lunch challenge.
School lunch challenge.
School lunch. So
Dude, just so you know, I feel like
you're gonna have to go back into the past, and I know you're the school lunch.
I'm
guy
the school lunch
your-
king.
and so I go.
Just for our listeners, I've been telling my wife this, and I feel like you will understand this,
Sure.
as many of the guys that are listening here. And I don't know if she's listening to this podcast today. She's on the way to the Nashville Zoo to sleep in the reptile cage, which I'm going to leave all of my comments along with that. But the reality of it is it is hard sometimes being the trophy husband.
Oh,
And that's what I keep
believe it,
telling
man.
my wife. And part of
Believe
my trophy husband-ishness, is that a word?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. We just made one up.
Yep.
Is I make the lunches for the kids every morning.
Yeah.
And for me, it's my thing to do. It's kind of like at church, I come in and I make the coffee. And then we got the hospitality team and we got people that come in and do all that. But for me, I enjoy doing that. I had somebody look at me and they're like, "Why are you the one making the coffee?" And I enjoy doing it. It's kind of my way to just say, "Hey, it's my way to help out." And that's the way I feel with my kids. And to be honest with you, when I'm not there, my wife makes them make it themselves. And I guess I'm either a helicopter parent or I'm more compassionate than she is.
My wife makes, on that same vein, I make Quinn's lunch. And if Paisley will ask me, I will make her lunch. But she's kind of responsible for Paisley. I'm responsible for Quinn because Paisley rides with her to school. And so with her, she's like, frustrated. With me, I'm like, it only takes 5-10 minutes.
Well, my kids
Max.
can make their lunches now,
They
but
can.
I just enjoy, like...
But when Paisley makes a lunch, she makes a pepperoni slice sandwich. And I go, who does that? My kid does. Yes, that's her preferred.
Well, I'm
that's
sitting
her
in here and I
favorite
know
sandwich.
your daughter, and I'm like, what would she put in her lunch? Because
She likes to
very
make
picky.
she does that, and she does bacon bits with lettuce on bread. It's like her version of a BLT, but she doesn't want the tomato.
Bacon bits. That's
And she puts
ingenious.
bacon bits, and so
Actually,
bacon bits, or she puts slices of pepperoni on sandwich. I don't. She's just an odd kid, But in that vein, I got this $15 school lunch challenge, there's a wealth of things for you to pick from. And so you have to build the best school lunch you can on this $15.
I have to
I
build.
don't know. I guess I could show this. I don't know if people can read that, but yeah. All kinds of, I feel like you could. Everybody can zoom in. But there you go. That's your challenge for this morning instead of keep or cut.
Okay, so I have to.
So
I
on
get $15.
yeah, you got to choose one entree, and then the rest of it you go. What do you do?
So I've got to choose one entree, and here are my choices. My entree. So I'm making the perfect school lunch. My options are a Lunchable
For $5.
for $5. I feel like a Lunchable might be one of the most overrated. It's a
My
great,
kids love them.
Yeah, they love them, but I'm like, there's nothing in them. It's 5 crackers, 5 pieces of round meat, and 5 pieces of cheese.
Yeah.
And so I sit there and go, I'm not doing the Lunchable. But I guess my biggest question is, what age group am I doing? Because a Lunchable to me is probably small eaters, and I do not have small eaters. So.
I feel like let's shoot for middle school.
Middle school. Oh, middle school.
Middle school. I feel like they're the most ravenous,
Yeah.
like always hungry.
So I'm not gonna do a Lunchable. I've got a pizza, which is great. I love pizzas. The question being, do they have a microwave available? Is it gonna be cold
sure.
pizza? You know, all that. I sent Aspen with some leftover buffalo chicken pizza the other day. She loved it. It was her favorite lunch.
I love cold pizza. Like I like pizza the next day, not the day of.
That is a lot of people and not me. I can't stand leftover pizza. Leftover pizza and leftover rice are always gross.
Man, the best way to eat pizza is leftover.
Yeah. I like pizza. I'm not going to mark it off yet. I've got Mom's sandwich.
The real question is pizza worth almost a third of your budget?
Yeah, it's possible because pizza is a filler and tastes good. But that's pizza at $4. I got Mom's sandwich at $3, which in my world that could be turkey and cheese, or it could be Nutella, or it could be peanut butter and jelly, the good old fashioned. And then I've got a chicken patty for $2, which I feel like a cold chicken patty would be rough.
Oh sure.
I'm gonna mark that one out just because I'm not a chicken patty guy. And then egg salad, which for me, there's a lot of ramifications to giving your kid an egg salad.
Yeah, absolutely there is.
Because they are going to be talked about 2 hours after that. So whatever classes they have after lunch, and my kids refuse to go to the bathroom at school.
Why?
It's
I
a thing.
don't have a problem going to the bathroom wherever. Never
Yeah,
bothers me.
well, I get that, but I always just went to like the field house or the
sure.
locker room or something. But so I'm gonna mark out egg salad
Yeah.
only because
I mean, I feel like that's an extreme value though.
it's a great value.
$1. If you get a good egg salad sandwich.
I love egg salad, but I'm gonna go. So if I gotta choose an entree, I'm not gonna spend the extra $1 on pizza. I'm gonna stick to the old classic, old faithful Mom's sandwich.
$3
Get
gone.
bang for your buck.
Down to 12.
I got 12
left to spend and a wealth of options.
Our live video has ended.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, I'm seeing red flashing. That's never good.
So are we live or are we off?
Well, I don't know. Click on it and see. We should be live on like YouTube, but not on Facebook.
Did we get booted? Are we in Facebook jail?
No. I mean, hey, I see us as live.
See us is live. All right. Well, I guess we're live. I don't even see us.
I mean, hey, I see us.
All right. We're gonna keep going. We're building the best lunch here, and I've got a glitch on my world, but
who knows?
Who knows? Yep. There we are. We're live. I don't know. Rob says we're live. Rob says that leftover pizza is my jam. He's a leftover pizza guy.
I'm telling you, man, there's just something about leftover pizza.
I feel like Mom's sandwich, though, it's versatile. You can go many directions. I feel like it's filling.
It would have been high on my list to go for
bang for the buck.
$3 solid value.
All right, so now I got to choose between the snack side of the house. So I've got $12 left. We've got Gushers at $5. My kid's favorite, but that's a lot of money for a fruit snack. Shark Bites, $4. Scooby Snacks, $3. Thunder Jets, $2. Welch's Fruit. I'm gonna go. I mean, this is an easy one for me. I'm gonna go for Welch's Fruit.
Absolutely. See,
it's massive value.
That's what I was thinking. Massive value for $1. Welch's Fruit. But see, I would have went drink before I figured the rest of it out because I think drink's highly important.
Well, my wife rolls her eyes at my drink choices with my own kids, and so that's kind of why I'm leaving it to last. But I think Welch's Fruit,
Value.
every kid loves it. It can be a dessert, can be a snack.
Sure.
For $1, I'll put it in there, and I don't see the $4 difference between a Gushers and a
Welch's Fruit snack.
So I think they're just as happy. Rob agrees with me.
Yeah.
Welch's, it's a classic choice. So I'm pretty much going old school classic. I got a Mom's sandwich. I got a Welch's Fruit. I'll go ahead and hit the drinks, and you don't have my drink on here.
No, what do you usually do?
I do Body Armors.
No, well, that would definitely be a $5.
I do Body Armors or a bottle of water with a flavor packet. The great value, like strawberry or whatever.
Sure.
But of these choices, I have High C.
The Ecto Cooler. You remember the Ecto Coolers?
I do.
Like,
I mean, you were bougie if you had one of those.
oh, absolutely.
Man. I got a $4 Capri Sun, which is a classic. I've got Kool-Aid Burst in the bottle. That's old school. You twist the top, break them.
You get the jet afterwards.
Oh,
so that's a benefit.
Oh, yeah. You got a $2 Yoo-Hoo and a $1 Hawaiian Punch. I believe if I'm making them, if I'm wanting to be the cool dad of the year, I'm going to go with Yoo-Hoo. On that one, chocolate milk. Every kid loves chocolate milk. They'll be the envy of everybody else.
Quinn enjoys herself a Yoo-Hoo, but I get frustrated with her because she forgets to shake them. Because you gotta shake. It literally says it on the thing. Shake it.
Well,
and I just go.
And they make Yoo-Hoo now in the lunch box. Like, it's not even in the bottle. They make Yoo-Hoo boxes now with the little straw. But if it wasn't for Yoo-Hoo being on here, I would have gone Capri Sun. That to me is classic.
See.
Multiple flavors, but there's not enough in there. Like, it's enough in there to get the first bite of sandwich down.
Right.
And after that, you're hosed.
So that's where I'm looking at you and I go, Mom's sandwich with a Yoo-Hoo. Hopefully there's enough Yoo-Hoo, because you know that bread's going to soak it up.
It's going to soak it up.
Soak it up.
It's going to soak it up. Hawaiian Punch is a classic. I agree with you, Rob, but I'm going Yoo-Hoo.
$2
I mean, right now, I'm sitting
$2.
here.
You're at what?
$6. Man, I could go high dollar on some of this other stuff. Next choice is some snack, and there's everything from.
This one's
man. This one's kind of your dairy. Section.
Sure.
You've got string cheese, which I put in my kids' lunch when I get them.
Yep.
I think it's a classic. Let me ask you a question. Do you like the white string cheese or the yellow string cheese?
I like bougie string cheese.
Oh, okay. You got to go name brand string cheese.
Not name brand, but I like.
Are you like Sargento?
I like a sharp cheddar.
Oh, I got you. So you're more like the square rectangle cheeses that are real cheese.
Right. They're not necessarily string.
Right.
They're shaped in the same string and they come in the same packaging, but I wouldn't.
But it's really a small block of cheese.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's Cassie likes that as well.
Or the little ones that are wrapped in wax. Those Baby Bells. Those are good too.
Yeah, they love those. I'm a mozzarella or whatever the white one is that you can peel apart. That's not real cheese because you can't melt them. But they do work great in the deep fryer.
Absolutely, that's what I was going to say.
They don't melt in the deep fryer.
they make a great marinara stick.
Yep, they absolutely do. What is a handy snack?
I don't know.
Okay. Then there's Rich Cheese Field. Is that the canned cheese? Remember the canned
Well,
cheese?
I think
that
it's
you
like
could-
the little crackers that have the cheese in
Oh,
it.
I got you. And then there's cheese balls,
Yep.
and then there's a dollar yogurt. I'm gonna go with the dollar yogurt
Really?
because that's what I
Man.
put in. And
Man.
here's what I do.
I feel like you're going straight value on all this.
I am. I would put string cheese, but the yogurt to me is far more valuable. And what I do in my kids' lunches is I get the yogurt that has the toppings on them.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
an Oreo one,
Yep.
a Snickers one, a Twix one,
Little
and
dumpers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so you can open it and mix it in with your. And my kids like that, or they like the. Chabelli's got one now. It's like s'mores and all day. It's like in
yeah.
a square.
Oh, yeah.
And so we eat
Claire
that a lot.
likes those.
Yeah,
Yep.
Cassie likes it. I'm not a yogurt fan, but my kids love it, so I'm going to go yogurt. And again, I'm basically packing my kids' lunch here.
I mean, you're for a 7th grader. I'm going. You got mom's sandwich and you got yogurt. I feel like they're going home hungry.
Well, I'm not there yet. I'm not there
It's
yet.
true. You're not. But
And on your list, you're missing a valuable part of a lunch, and I'll get to that in a second. So the next one is a fruit roll-up, fruit by the foot, amazing fruit, a string thing, and applesauce.
I know exactly which one I would pick.
I'm going with fruit roll-up.
You're gonna spend $5 on
I
fruit
am,
roll?
and I'm going to buy the ones
Solid.
with the tattoo.
Oh,
The tongue tattoo.
I will say that one is a huge fan in my household.
Because that is...
That stupid tattoo. They love
It's
them.
just tattoo,
Yep.
and that's what I'm saying. I've got a lot of budget to spend here.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm going to go bougie because your kids, the cool one, because they got the tattoo.
See, I would have been applesauce, but I love applesauce.
I don't like applesauce. None of my kids like applesauce. No,
no.
my daughter eats the applesauce out of the squeeze.
Oh, the little baby ones.
Yeah, the little baby one. It's ridiculous. But I go fruit roll up here with the tattoo.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good value. It'll be a great trade chip if they want to
Trade
use it.
chip. That is absolutely correct. And then the final one is your dessert. Dunkaroos Cosmic Brownies, Hostess Cream Cupcake, Little Debbie Oatmeal Pie, or Animal Crackers. Huh.
How much budget do you have left?
Well, I just spent that $5, so I've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got $4 to spend.
$4 left. So Dunkaroos is out.
Dunkaroos is out.
Now, here's the interesting thing. You could spend the $1 on Animal Cracker and spend another $3 somewhere else.
I can.
You could.
I can. I don't see any chips on here.
Yep.
But for me, I would probably go. Probably go with the Old Faithful and go Little Debbie Oatmeal Cream Pie.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
100%.
I got to go with that.
It's the best Little Debbie.
I massively disagree with you.
You're nuts.
I'm not
It's
nuts.
the
My
best.
kids love it, but it's not the best.
It's the best Little
The
Debbie.
goat of Little Debbie is the zebra cake.
No,
Oh yeah.
no.
Oh.
No. The only one that can challenge the oatmeal cream pie is the Nutty Buddy.
The Nutty Buddy. My
That's the
kids
only
like
one.
the Star Crunch,
Oh,
and I
they're
don't
nuts.
really know. Like I'm like,
I mean, it's okay.
it's all right, but it's not a.
It's kind of like Cosmic Brownie to me. It's okay.
I can't. A cosmic brownie, I can't stand.
I think
Like, it is
they're okay.
It gums
but-
in my mouth like it's not.
Oh yeah.
But I also, and I tell my wife this, and I'm trying to tell our Christmas tree cake. Agreed, Rob. Like this
No,
one,
you're
zebra
nuts.
cake
No,
could
man.
be any
No.
holiday.
No, you're wrong.
They make it in the single. They make it in the double. Like what other one do you
Okay.
get two?
You can get
don't.
the double stacked
Nutty
oatmeal
Buddy,
cream
you
pie.
get two.
You can get the massive, huge oatmeal cream pie that's
Blah.
double stacked.
Dude, you can get two.
You can get the
zebra
fudge
cake.
round
Now
that's
they
double
even
stacked.
make zebra
You're
cakes
nuts.
in the rolls. In the roll
Yeah,
up zebra cake.
yeah.
It's
That's
like-
just because they've had so many leftover zebra cakes that they're going, how do we process the rest of this? That's
man.
what it is.
I'm with Rob
You
on
don't-
this.
you don't-
Christmas tree
look,
cake when
you
it
don't-
comes out.
Do you see many oatmeal cream pies left on the shelf? Nope.
That's because I have to throw them away.
No, they don't. It's because they're bought and eaten.
Swiss, Hunter chimes in with the Swiss roll.
Of course he does.
The chocolate with the little.
Look, the worst part of the Swiss roll is when you peel off the white on the back and it gets everywhere.
It does.
It gets
gets
everywhere.
absolutely everywhere. But I'll tell you, The classic Little Debbie, if we're going old school classic, the classic Little Debbie is not on here, but it's probably the original and the GOAT of all Little Debbies that many people don't eat anymore, and they don't understand the 70s and 80s, and it can absolutely survive a nuclear blast.
A Twinkie.
A Twinkie.
I mean, it's a solid choice.
I bought my kids a Twinkie once, like the box of Twinkies. I put them in their lunch, and they came home and they were like, "Dad, what was that?" And I'm like, "It was a Twinkie."
Yeah, never had them.
They were like, "That was not good."
What?
Yeah, they didn't like the Twinkie. It was the red one with like the coconut with the. It was kind
well,
of
okay.
it
It's
wasn't
not,
the original.
It's not the
Twinkie.
original. Yeah, I can understand that.
But I'm a zebra cake, and
You're nuts, man.
the other Little Debbie that I like is the fruit pies.
Nah,
Like
no.
the apple pie, I can
No,
eat those
thanks.
cold. It's almost like the McDonald's pie.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking?
Oh yeah, little fried pies.
But when you go to Texas, you got to stop at the fried pie store.
Yeah, if we were going up through Waco.
Yeah, they are you cutting down at Shreveport?
Well, no, yeah.
Or are you going
No,
all the
we're
way
going-
through?
So
You're
we'll stay,
staying north.
We'll
on
stay
20.
10
Yeah.
or 20.
Yeah,
We won't go 10.
because if you dive down in Shreveport and cut like through Texas, kind of come through Crockett
yeah.
in that way, there's a town that's got a fried pie store there. I
Oh, yeah.
stop every time, and they have breakfast fried pies.
Huh.
Yep, they put like you can get a bacon egg fried pie.
Yeah, if we went by the Czech stop, we would look at some fried pies and some kolaches, but we won't be going by the Czech stop.
I've tried to get Cassie to sell some fried pies in her shop, but she doesn't understand my brilliance.
Look, we need to have a serious discussion about Hunter Schneider, and it's not going to be a good one. This guy's nuts.
Oatmeal cream pies are my last choice. I'm going cosmic brownie,
Man.
zebra cake, Swiss roll, fudge round, and then the strawberry cheesecake things.
Yeah, this guy.
I don't know what the strawberry cheesecake thing is, but I would try it
Sure.
because I like cheesecake.
Yeah, this guy's just.
So I got $2 left.
You got $2 left. What you purchased the?
My
You went the
ultimate
oatmeal
lunch right
cream pie.
now is a mom sandwich with a Yoo-hoo yogurt roll up and a oatmeal cream pie.
So
and
you
I'm
got
gonna take my
$2
last $2 and I'm gonna go buy some chips.
Well, you got cheese balls.
Yeah. But cheese balls are not. That's what I would put on here.
I mean, you could almost.
Is
do
that
it-
cheesy poofs?
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
would go.
Yeah.
You could almost get another. You could go. You could put that egg salad in there as a just in case.
Just in case.
But I don't know, man. That's
Well,
a
my
rough one.
high schoolers ask for 2 sandwiches now. Like
Yeah,
they
see?
want a peanut butter jelly and a meat
You,
and cheese.
you might be able to. You could go chicken patty on
I'd
there.
go chicken patty as just an extra add-on. But to me, the cheese balls, my biggest frustration with school lunch packaging is you buy the 30 count or the 50 count chip boxes.
Oh, yeah.
Variety boxes.
Oh,
'Cause
sure.
All my kids like different ones. Colton likes the purple Doritos. Dylan likes the red Doritos. Aspen likes the fire Cheetos, flaming hot, whatever's. A couple of them like
Strawberry
salt and vinegar.
shortcake.
Strawberry shortcake.
That's
Yeah,
not cheesecake.
cheesecake.
Come on,
but yeah,
bro.
I as a matter of fact, I put those in their lunches
Yeah,
yesterday.
those are okay.
They're all right. They're
They're
not zebra cakes, but they're good. in
They're,
the
they're
pinch.
not oatmeal cream pies.
Oh,
That's
my
what you need to say.
They but you buy the variety box of chips,
Yes.
and of 50 of them, 25 of them are Cheetos.
Oh yeah. But
Nobody eats Cheetos.
I like Cheetos.
You
My
like
kid-
Cheetos.
Quinn
My
eats
wife likes
Cheetos,
Cheetos.
I like
no kids
Cheetos.
like Cheetos.
Quinn likes Cheetos. Paisley does not.
Yeah, none of my kids.
She
eat
likes
Cheetos.
Cheeto puffs, but not like the little
It is.
regular. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. It's the same thing. They'll eat the flaming hot Cheetos. They'll
Yeah.
eat the cheesy poofs.
I don't know why they like Cheeto puffs. I'm like it always gets stuck, and you got to like dig it out. Like
I feel like I'm always getting screwed because they only put like 3 of the Cool Ranch Doritos, and that's what they all
that's
want.
what they all want. Absolutely.
But there's not, and they don't make like you can buy just the Dorito box, 50 Dorito packs. You can buy just
Oh, yeah.
the plain potato chip box, 50 plain. You can even buy 50 of the Ruffles cheddar
Yep.
cheese ones,
Yep.
but you can't find the
No. My kids love.
Holy Grail is the Cool
and
Ranch.
it's their only bougie chip.
Yep.
Like
It is.
it's the only one that they go. Got to be name brand.
Yep, I agree. I am there's a few things that and my wife rolls her eyes at me with this, but she does the same thing on a few different things
Oh,
as
sure.
well. But there's a few off-brand things I will not buy.
Peanut butter.
See, I don't have a problem with
I'm a
great
Peter-
value peanut butter.
I'm a Peter Pan guy. I
You're a
don't have
Peter Pan guy.
a problem with it. It's just
Crunchy,
Oh no, I
no,
like smooth.
just creamy Peter
Yep.
Pan.
Yep.
Peter Pan over
Peter-
Jif?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Peter Pan over them all.
Over them all.
Peter Pan. Mine would go. The things that I like name brand is peanut butter, mayonnaise, Worcestershire sauce.
Ah.
That'd be Leon Perron's.
Leon Perron. I don't eat off-brand ketchup.
No, I could see that one.
water.
I don't eat much ketchup, so
It's too, I'm not a big ketchup guy, but when the off-brand ketchup is very watery. I don't eat off-brand macaroni and cheese.
sure.
Like if I'm gonna go bougie, it will be that right there. And I'm a shells and cheese. I want the
yeah.
cheese out of the
Yeah, I want a shells and cheese for sure.
kind of like the canned cheese, not the powder.
Right.
Right. So
Absolutely.
I don't eat that. And then my other off-brand is I can't stand off-brand chips. Something different about them.
There are some that I go are pretty good, but I don't know.
Like we bought a pack the other day because I was like, I'm trying to save money because
It is so much cheaper.
it is so much cheaper. But there's a difference. It was like Noodle-O's or something. I don't even know what it was. But I even ate some. I'm a chip guy. Like if I
Yeah.
sit down and start eating chips and salsa,
I'm
I'll
the
eat
same
the whole
way,
bag.
but I like the Lay's stacks.
Ooh yeah,
Like I like those better.
I'm a Pringles guy.
See, I like Lay's stacks over. I think Pringles are great, but I'm a Lay's stacks over because I feel like they're just a hair saltier.
Ah,
That's what I like about them.
for school lunches they have the Pringles variety. You get the sour cream, the cheddar,
Yep.
and my kids never complain about any of those.
Sure.
But when I buy the 50 count box variety packs,
But-
there's always Cheetos, and I'm stuck with Cheetos. So what I figured out how to do is you take the cheese sticks and you batter them and roll them in Cheetos, and
Oh,
then
that's an interesting.
fry
Oh,
them, and you've now got cheese flavored
yeah.
cheddar cheese mozzarella sticks.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds delish. I mean, I could see that.
Here's
Usually we have regular Dorito nacho cheese left over. Like that's kind of the last holdout. Quinn also likes the weird things like salt and vinegar.
Yeah,
Like
that's
she
Dylan.
goes,
Dylan loves
and
salt
I
and
go,
vinegar.
but she won't like. It's not. She'll snack on salt and vinegar, but she doesn't want them in her lunch.
Now, I'm going to comment here because Hunter Snyder is a little bit offended that we haven't recognized his brilliance because he has made the comment, to which I do agree, waiting on a variety soda.
Sure.
And I will tell you, I'm actually about to get a variety soda from the distributor because they make a variety Fanta pack.
No,
where
that's
you
interesting.
get,
Yep.
but it's all the glass bottles, so you
Yep.
get like the grape, the strawberry, the orange, and the pineapple.
No, you're not going to get the tamarine or whatever it is. That one's an interesting one.
Yeah, that's an
That's
interesting one.
that's real Mexican.
It is very Mexican, but I'm having trouble even now just getting the Mexican glass bottles. I can get the
Oh, sure.
Coke, but there's a shortage on Sprite and Fanta. But he said they may have the variety pack, and I love that one because honestly, my favorite Fanta is a pineapple.
Sure.
But I'm one of the few rare
It's not a bad
exceptions.
choice.
I just like it. But I do agree with you. I would love a variety pack, like a 12 pack that you had 3 different flavors of 4.
Oh, sure.
Because if I could get if it had like a Coke, a Sprite, and a Fanta, like
Sure.
you kind of get the best of both
Whatever their
worlds.
orange soda is.
Orange soda, yeah. If you're like Sunkissed,
I don't know which Coke brand.
if you had 4 sodas that you could put in a variety pack, doesn't matter the brand, Coke, RC, 7-Up, Pepsi, whatever, distributor doesn't matter. If you could choose 4 to put in a variety pack, what would it be?
Is it just for me?
Yes, just
or
for
is
you,
it for
not
like,
for your kids.
or for like the family? If it's just for me, I'm gonna go regular Coke. I'm gonna go Mountain Dew Zero. I like that one a lot. I'm gonna go with ginger ale.
What?
Yeah, I love ginger ale.
Wow.
Always have. And man, I don't really drink that many sodas. Coke, cherry Coke would be the other one.
Cherry Coke?
Yep, Coke, cherry Coke, Mountain Dew Zero, and ginger ale.
See, I would have to go Mountain Dew, Dr. Pepper, Coke Zero, and probably Sunkissed.
Interesting.
I like me some orange sodas. I like the flavored stuff.
Oh, sure.
I'll be honest, and this is going to hurt our Coke dealers' feelings.
Yeah.
I couldn't really tell a difference before they fried my taste buds, but now I really can't. Like, you can hand me a Coke, a Pepsi, Dr. Pepper is the only one that I can taste that's different.
Sure.
But all the rest of them taste the same to me.
Sure.
So that's why I like the flavored ones, because I can taste.
You would struggle in the Coke Pepsi challenge.
Oh, I wouldn't pass.
You would go ahead.
I'd be like, they're all the same. All the same. But I could tell a difference in Sprite and 7-Up.
Can you tell? So if you get a Coke, can you tell a difference between can, bottle, soda fountain?
Yes, big time.
Interesting.
Big time.
Can't tell a difference between canned Coke and
Canned Coke is always
and
flatter.
Canned Pepsi.
Canned Coke is flat.
Interesting.
I believe canned Coke. I will always choose canned Coke last. I will always choose.
Peach Sunkist. Who is this?
Yeah,
Hunter
Peach
kid?
Sunkist. That's some good stuff.
Is it?
Yeah, it's
I didn't
good.
even know that existed.
Oh yeah, it's hard to find. You don't see it much, but when you do, it's like a spring flavor.
What's your opinion on root beer?
Root beer. I'm an IBC root
Sure.
beer. A&W's all right. I like an occasional root beer.
Yeah.
It's one of those I'll sit down and drink. Obviously, a root beer float.
Sure.
But a root beer is one I would massively prefer out of a bottle.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I agree with that.
Barks root beer probably tops my list. I like IBC, I like A&W, but Barks root beer about once every 6 months would
Sure.
be. But it's not one I'm going to just go out and buy a 24 pack.
I
of.
wouldn't either.
But yeah,
If a root beer's handed to me, I'm not going to be offended.
correct. I'll drink it.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, Bullet Ice with a fountain soda is the best out there.
Sure.
I choose that, and glass bottles would be second, plastic bottles would be third, and cans would be fourth.
Really?
Yep.
Canned after plastic bottle. See,
Yeah.
I think a can is better than a plastic bottle.
My problem with the can is I can't put the top back on it. Like, I feel like I have to drink it all right then. Like, I've got a can right here, but if I pour it over ice, it can sit for a while. But I feel like the second a canned soda gets slightly off cool,
It's on the
it's
time
done.
limit.
Done. Yeah, it's on a time limit.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I will agree, and we'll move on to actually something that matters here in a second.
of
But I do
relevance.
agree with the statement that off-brand toilet paper is a no-go.
And now, see, I have a question about that one. Is the Sam's brand toilet paper considered off-brand?
No. It's not. Sam's has mastered
They're big
off-brand
pack.
toilet paper.
So it is an off-brand.
It is. It's not
There you
Charmin.
go.
It's not. No.
So
So
see, I would take. So you're telling me that if you put Sam's, Charmin, and I don't know Scott's,
it's, Scotch to me is off-brand.
Scott's is for those who have trouble septic systems.
Yes. I feel like from a toilet paper point of view, and I can't even answer that question because if you look at Quilted Northern, you look at Charmin,
Sure.
you look at Sam's, you look at all these. It's not even the name on the pack. It is the thickness of I am a strong. So if it's Charmin, it needs to be the strong. If it's Quilted Northern, I don't like Quilted Northern.
Not a soft and strong
But I
guy.
feel like Crystal, our children's director, is dancing. Crystal, you want to come? You want to come in? Crystal's dancing in the window, and she is a happy person today. But I am a Sam's because they're thicker, and I feel like they made their off-brand is strong.
I don't feel like they sell anything other than the one thing of.
That's
like,
it.
You can either
But
get
they
that-
made it like they do the
Yeah,
strong thing.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it's an off-brand toilet paper, so you can't say off-brand toilet paper is a no-go when you're buying off-brand toilet paper.
Valid point. When I think of off-brand, I think of the toilet paper they put in like the Walmart bathrooms or in church bathrooms.
Oh yeah, you can't. Well, commercial toilet paper is just different.
And I love our Centos people because they go to our church. And I asked them, I said, I want your thickest, most bougie, like, I don't care what we have to pay, put the best stuff that you have in here. And he's like, done. And
And
it
he went.
sucks.
Yep.
And so I'm going to drill a paper towel dispenser into the stall and I'm gonna hang my Sam's toilet paper on it.
You're seeing? I mean,
I
hey,
am, straight
not
up.
bad.
They
There-
tried.
For sure, there is a difference between commercial and home grade.
There's definitely a,
Like, I agree with that.
yeah.
But all right, there we go. Hey, we made it a surprising 35 minutes, and I did not think that discussion would last as long as it has.
A show about, well, I haven't talked in 2 weeks, so.
Well, I guess that's true.
And
That's
I
fair.
prefer banter over serious stuff.
Sure.
It's a show about nothing and a show about
No,
everything.
you got to stop saying it's a show about nothing, because it's only a show about everything.
It's a show about everything, which often revolves around nothing.
Now, see, we'll talk about anything under the sun.
That is true.
Like, there's no topic that's off limits.
No topic off limits. I don't need a.
How did you feel like? So we just came out of no. I know. I saw.
I'm reading the Hunter's
saw.
statement
Yeah.
about the. Yeah.
So we just came out of no excuses, and we were starting reflections. At the end of series, I always like to ask: do you feel like you got what you wanted to get across with no excuses?
With no excuses, yeah. So we're in our third series of the year. We also did, what was that other one? Urban Legends.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really enjoyed, I was just talking to a buddy this morning. I feel like this year I'm back to preaching the way I did years ago in Texas. I'm enjoying it. I am, and the reason I say that, it's not a shot, but like, there is a level of critiquiness in the religious world that I was having to battle for a long time.
It feels
And
less
this-
worky.
What's that?
It feels less worky.
Yeah, it's I'm preaching more from the heart and more from the spirit. I think, as opposed to worrying about what the dude taking notes to blast me on Monday is doing. And so this year has been really fun for me. I enjoyed No Excuses. I think it landed well with the congregation.
Sure.
I've had a ton of feedback on it. I think it is a great year-long goal
Yep.
to
vision.
live a life of no excuses. And I think it changes the dynamic of resolutions in life. I enjoyed Urban Legends. I think it made people dive in.
Yep.
Because when you talk about some of those topics, my goal in that one was to say, this is what you've heard your whole life, but it's not really true.
Right.
And some of the things that we like to cliche out. And I love those type of series only because it makes people go, huh. When I talked about Jonah, and I got lit up for it, but when I talked about Jonah and gave the 3 or 4 different scenarios that
Sure.
could have happened, people went ballistic because I didn't agree with their Sunday school teacher from 1922. But I threw out one that I was like, man, that one makes sense to me. Right? And
Sure.
Jesus even referred to it, but oh my gosh, you'd have thought I'd slapped Jesus off the cross when I preached it. But I tried to explain to people, I didn't say any of it, because it's a theory. Like,
Right.
nobody has the answer. You
Right.
can't tell me that your way is correct.
Right.
But it made people go dig in for themselves. And I think a great message isn't one that somebody will listen to me and just run with what I say. I think a great message has 2 factors in it. One is it makes people dig in. Because if you can create a curiosity or a moment of discovery for them, it's huge. Because they'll go dig in, even if it's to prove me wrong. I'm good with
Sure.
that. Go prove me wrong. I've done my study. But if you're digging in to prove me wrong, you're still digging in.
Right.
And I love that. I would rather somebody go discover. And the other thing is it's got to be applicable. And I think even with the No Excuses and the Urban Legends, we left at the end of every message application.
Right.
And I think you can go, and I'm not dogging, there's great pastors who teach. But if you can't apply the message that you've heard, you've just gone to a class.
Sure.
And classes are fine, but that's not what I'm looking for. And it's not the way God's, gifted or directed me to preach. I'm more parable-based, story-based,
Sure.
authentic, applicable-based. And so for me, if you can't use it on Tuesday, It's just knowledge. You know, I can sing Sweet Home Alabama and it does me no good, but I know it. You know, so it's fine. Knowledge is fine. I'm not dogging knowledge. We need more knowledge, but if you can't apply it, to me, discipleship is walking out Scripture. Demons in hell knew Scripture. They didn't apply it, obviously. So for me, application of Scripture is far more depth than anybody can memorize.
Oh yeah.
And so I think to short answer your question, both of the series up to this point, and even this one with the reflections, I think is resonating with a lot of people. And for me, it's freeing to just preach again. It's just fun to preach.
The amount of I am anointed, I have heard,
Good.
is impressive.
You know, and it's funny to me because we can spend a lot of time trying to create verbiage.
Oh, yeah.
You know, every organization, whether you're in the secular world or the church world, has verbiage, right? For us, it's a lot of, you know, don't do life alone. I see that on a lot of places, and no excuses. I've seen a lot. But the you are anointed, that is one that has resonated, and I think we don't use that terminology a lot anymore, especially in the non-denom world, that anointing. But it's to be set apart to accomplish an assignment.
Sure.
And I think when people grasp that you are set apart for an assignment, and your assignment is going to look totally different than somebody else's, and that's okay. And the way you walk out your assignment is going to be it's an assignment from God is as unique as a fingerprint.
You feel like assignment changes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's ever changing, to be honest with you. I think as you go through different stages of life, your assignment as a 60-year-old with a lot of history and knowledge and wisdom is going to look totally different than an assignment as a 25-year-old. I think who you're going to reach is different. I think there's a shift in there somewhere that you become a mentor over, you know, if I think your assignment constantly changes.
Rob Wise.
What'd he say?
For the people in the back, I am anointed.
Oh man, but yeah, it has resonated. I think all three have resonated this week. We're talking about in the cave. It's part of the story that everybody skips over.
Yep.
It's when Saul comes after David and he's hanging out in the cave for a while, and you know it's kind of some dark years for him. But again, it's kind of like Elijah. You know, you have this big miracle. David kills Goliath, and he's a hero. And next thing you know, he's running for his life. And
well, you even look at Jesus and getting
chased
out of Nazareth. And
they got palm leaves coming saying Hosanna, Hosanna, and you know, not long after he's nailed to a cross.
Oh, sure.
And I think when you look at a lot of the heroes of the great, you know, having an assignment and being anointed from it doesn't keep you out of the valleys. It doesn't keep you, as a matter of fact. Most of the greats, I mean, even, you know, talking about Jonah, he led a revival of Nineveh.
Sure.
Saved an entire people culture, nation, and he's over there pouting.
Yeah.
And angry and depressed. And Elijah, fire from heaven, and he's at a cave. I'm the only one suicidal. You know, David is running for his life, stepping out in what God called him. You know, it'd have been easy for him to go, well, I'm anointed, so this should be easy. I slayed the giant. I should be the king. Didn't work out that way. So he had to spend some time in the cave, and that's what we're talking about this week. So it's how to continue forward in the cave, not how to avoid the cave.
Huh. That's interesting.
It'll be interesting. It'll be something.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't land the following week, we're going to talk about a little bit of. I can't decide if I want to land on the Bathsheba thing.
Sure.
Or if I want to go more, you know, David's mighty men, chase lions.
Oh yeah.
You know, are you a lion?
Well, and
chaser?
there's the wealth of David you could go after.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what, when we were talking reflections, you were saying life of David, and I went, it's a pretty long one.
It's a broad scope. You could spend a year
Sure.
on David, because I mean it's not just 1 Samuel, that's the story of it, but then you start looking at the Psalms and things he wrote. I'm convinced David was bipolar. I mean, dude, look at his Psalms. I'm
Yeah.
going to land in Psalm 59 a little bit this week. And when you read that, the beginning of it, you sit there and go, dude had some
Yeah.
squabbles in his
Well,
head,
sure.
you know. And so I think my week 4, I haven't decided, but I think because it's a reflection, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as confident, or do you see yourself as, you know, are you a lion chaser,
Sure.
or are you up in a tree squalling like a little scared baby? I don't know. I haven't developed it yet.
You
I've
haven't.
got some outline for it, but I haven't developed it. But I think that's where I'm going. And then week 5, we're talking about David dancing in the street naked.
Always
It's one of my
fun.
favorite stories.
Oh, sure.
It's one of my favorite stories. His wife's up there going, "You shouldn't do that." Sounds a lot like my house. My wife telling me I shouldn't do stuff, and me doing it anyway. But David, got down with the people, and he was worshiping unashamed. He wasn't actually naked. He just took off his proper clothes. But that's where I'm going with that. And I'm really excited about the next series, Big C.
Big C coming up.
I'm liking our series
we-
development this year.
We have talked about the Big C Church for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's fun to watch. Ironically, when we were doing podcast over COVID, that's kind of when we started, I guess, that verbiage of Big C. And so, 3 years ago was that verbiage started, and now it's into its own series. So that's an interesting one to watch. It'll be fun being in Acts and talking about it, and then relating our church to how it should be.
And that's where I've landed this morning.
It's fun that you're going to be in Acts during Easter.
It's going to be different.
Yeah.
I've never been in Acts during Easter. We're not doing a standalone Easter message. I'm
Right.
going to tie Easter
Yep.
into the Big C.
Yep.
And that will be interesting for me. It's either going to land really well, or I'm going to get overly cute with it and screw up Easter. But I suspect God will handle it. But at the end of the day, I've really been intrigued with this Big C stuff, and I told you I was going to talk a little bit about this today. And if you go on my Facebook post, you'll read what I posted this morning. I've done really good not popping off
Sure.
in a while, ever since the LGBTQ thing. I post every morning, and I usually throw one out there, and I don't typically look at it till about midway through the day, and I'll go through and read everybody's comments and like them, and then move on to the next thing. But I posted this morning. So there's this movie out there. It's called Jesus Revolution. Have you
Yep.
seen it?
I have not. I've seen previews.
It was in Tuscaloosa theaters. I don't
Yep.
know if it's still going. I know they extended it because it was so big. There's Cocaine Bear, which is
Yeah.
number 2, about a bear on cocaine.
Yep.
And there is a number 3 grossing movie, which is Jesus Revolution.
Creed 3 must be number 1.
I was wondering who was one, but I'm guessing Creed. But it shows you the pendulum of our nation, that a cocaine cartoon bear and
Sure.
a Jesus revival movement movie are back to back, neck and neck, and gross.
Both based on true stories.
Both based on true stories. But again, I was reading an article about the Jesus Revolution, and I've got some dear friends that have watched it, and they loved it. And I try not to go to movie theaters.
No.
I hate movie theaters. But
You preached in a movie
I
theater.
preached in a movie theater for years. I would still plant a church in a movie theater.
Absolutely.
Like that theater over there, when it shuts down, I would love to have, just the building itself.
Oh, yeah.
Is cool for that to be a church. And I would leave the arcade in.
I would serve popcorn every Sunday.
Popcorn every Sunday, leave the arcades
Oh, yeah.
up, and have a blast.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Like I think churches, and I've said this for a while, need to start taking over malls and
Oh,
movie
sure.
theaters, because both of them are dying, and what a great space. That being said, I'm going to order it on Prime Video, because
Sure.
you can buy movies now when they
Oh,
come
yeah.
out. But this one is a Lionsgate, so they haven't quite come out with it yet. But I was watching the previews, and I was reading an article about it, and they referred to the movie as a middle America movie. And I thought that was interesting, because it was a mainstream media, and they were talking about that this movie was a middle American movie that is a low budget based movie. So, it's not a big Hollywood blockbuster, but millions of dollars to make. But yet it's grossing an insane amount. And again, God's Not Dead was number one for a while.
Oh, sure.
What was the football one?
Facing the Giants.
Facing the Giants was kind of in the early years of
Oh,
the
that was-
genre movement of Christian
Yeah,
movies.
I
And
feel like
I can only imagine.
I feel like Firestarter. Was it Firestarter?
Fireproof.
Fireproof was the first.
It was the original
the first
one.
big one that got out. It wasn't the original, but I feel like it's the one that got
It's
out.
the one that got out. And it
Yeah.
was kind of that movie where the plot of it was so good you forgot how bad the
Oh, sure.
budget was.
Right.
But the God's Not Dead movement, and I can only imagine they've gotten bigger budgeted in
Yeah.
it, so it's a little bit better. But this one is that same, and the article was basically talking about how Hollywood hasn't figured it out. Like they put all these woke movies up there that bomb, but the wholesome, what they call middle American movies, blow it out of the water.
Because Middle America goes and watches them.
And that's because they go watch them, which leads me to my next statement, and this is when we talk about in the Big C Church. It's a drum I've been beating for a while. America is not a godless nation. I do think we're a post-Christian nation, but
Yeah.
they're still searching. They're
Absolutely.
still very in tune with wanting to discover Christ and discover the Spirit and know who God is. And so when you have these movies come out, I think there's a genuine, hey, it's a wholesome movie I can take my family to, but there's also a, let's go check this out.
Sure.
So there's this movie, and it's a hippie movement, and it's based on a true story by Pastor Greg Laurie. And I've watched some of Greg Laurie's stuff. He's out in California, which makes him weird because all Californians are weird. But the hippie movement in the 60s and 70s, it was literally the Woodstocky kind of, and it was just its own movement, right? The hippie movement. And so it shows the story of this guy who's on a journey, for lack of a better word, and he meets a pastor. He finds Christ and accepts Christ, and he's weird with it because he's a hippie. But then there's the other character who's Kelsey Grammer, Frazier, back in the day. He's the pastor of this little dinky country church, probably 20-person membership, right? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's a dying church, basically. And so he's watching this hippie movement, and they're kind of dogging it like they need a bath, and I can't believe these kids are da-da-da. And for whatever reason, the Holy Spirit puts it on his heart to reach out to him. It's this just the gist of it. This guy reaches out to this hippie leader. This hippie leader brings a group of hippies to this church. And next thing you know, this whole movement starts, the Jesus movement. And it's started through the hippie movement. What a lot of people don't realize is that it's actually really the beginning of what we would call today contemporary worship.
Sure.
Was born out of the hippie movement.
Sure.
So, but to get to my point, we're running out of time. To get to my point, is there was a scene in the previews, and I laughed out loud. I haven't watched the movies. I think it's out on Prime. I'm waiting for my wife to get back from the zoo. But there's a scene in the previews that I loved, and it made me go, I'm going to watch it because of this. So the hippies show up to church, and they're dressed like hippies.
Right.
Not wearing shoes, flower power, probably smell like weed, don't look anything like church supposed to look. And they show this scene, and there's all the church people sitting on one side, the hippies are all sitting on the other. The pastor gets up there and says, I want to introduce you to my new friends. Two people get up and leave. They're disgusted that I can't believe we let them in. And this one guy stands up and walks right in the middle of the hippie section, sits down. It's like the 70-year-old guy, sits in the middle of them, puts his arm around them and says, let's get started. So it starts the movement. Well, the scene I was talking about this morning in my Facebook post was, shortly after that, there's some congregation complaining to the pastor that these people are coming in and they're not even wearing shoes and they're going to get our golden carpet dirty. And I just laughed out loud watching this and rolled my eyes at the same time, because that is so typical religion, church, arrogant. I don't know the word. It's a Pharisee mentality.
Right.
And it drives me insane. Like, can you believe they're not wearing shoes? They're going to get our carpet dirty. So I see this scene, and then it cuts to the next scene, which is the very next Sunday, and the pastor's in the middle of the aisle, and as the hippies are walking in, he's washing their feet like Jesus. And I start laughing, and I'm like, well played. Now, it's a movie, but
Sure.
I'm like, great point. It's a great point, and it's what I've been screaming. It doesn't matter what you wear. Like, you know, that's
Sure.
a religious Pharisee mindset. And all you hear in religion is complaining about how they didn't dress right or look right or don't worship right. You know, this crazy hippie music and these versions that aren't right and all this stuff. So he's washing the feet and it kind of shuts it down. So I posted this morning and I said, I love this scene. And then I made the comment, once again, when religion gets out of the way, revival can happen.
Sure.
And a guy who's been following me for a while, you know, posted about the hippie pastor. He was a homosexual the guy got married and then wound up not married. I mean, he was a broken dude, and he
Sure.
had he fought a lot of demons throughout his whole life. And even after this movement, he went and kind of did his own thing for a while. Then they reconnected, reconciled. But he's just a broken guy. Samson.
Sure.
He was Samson. And even the pastor in this movie, the real guy, went and did the dude's funeral. Guy died of AIDS in the 80s. But he went and did the guy's funeral, and he compared him to Samson. He was like, you know, he was anointed, and he had a plan and a purpose, and God used him, but he still
Right.
continued to jack up. And by that, he had consequences. He died.
Sure.
And by no means am I condoning, I mean, you know my stance on all of that. But I fired off. And I normally I stopped doing it, but I'm like, oh my gosh, even the rebuttal to the comment had nothing to do with shoes or the feet. It's just a religious pop-off that wanted to say, well, this guy wasn't qualified, so this movement wasn't real. And so I quoted in Paul in Philippians where he said, even the ones that preach out of deceit, at least they're hearing about Jesus. And
Sure.
I reminded them about the first evangelist, which was the 5-time divorced winner at the well, and the adulteress that got drug out, and Jesus put the adulteress on the exact same playing field as the religious elite. And then I said something about Samson and Moses and Noah, and that the lineage of Jesus had a murderer and an adulterer named David and a hooker. But it got me fired up this morning.
Sure.
And it just really aggravates me when religion gets in the way. And so I am going to preach an Easter message on the Jesus Revolution.
Interesting.
But I
Yeah.
feel like the Big C Church, I'm excited about that series because, like you said, we've been talking about it for 3 years.
Yeah.
And for me, I think that the church we often see now, Jesus is just up there shaking his head going, dude, it was a movement.
Right.
And y'all turned it back into what I had to come down for.
Sure.
Like, that's what I feel like, is you turned it into what I had to come down here for.
I had to go argue with Pharisees everywhere I
Yeah.
went.
The law
Who-
crushes you.
Who went, yeah. Well, even I look at the disciples and I go, they're the most flip-floppy people. And you go, it's like they believe, and then they're like, man, you really are the Son of God. Oh, you did that miracle? I've seen you do this time and time again. You really are the Son of God. And I keep reading it every time I read it, and I go, I don't get how you can see it the first time, and then you see it like the 10th time, and you go, man, you must really be who you say you are.
Exactly. Ty's on here. He said, you better not wear a hat. Again,
Why?
that being one that I understand the respect my dad taught me, you know, old school,
Sure.
don't wear a hat in a building, which I'm wearing a hat now. It's not my generation thing. I'll take it off for the national anthem.
Sure.
And I'll take it off when I typically walk into church, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't care. I don't think God looks down and goes, thou shalt not wear a hat. If a guy will walk in with a hat and come to church,
Win.
okay, yeah,
That's
winner,
a win.
winner. And so we're going to talk a lot about that, about the movement versus the organization.
Think about the first time you ever walked into a church and the anxiousness and you may not have been getting judgmental looks, but you felt like you were.
Oh, I
It didn't-
absolutely felt like I
Like-
was, and I don't think anybody probably was.
Yeah.
There were a few that would, because I had the tattoos I've gotten covered up since then.
Sure.
They should have looked at me funny because I could have been a mass murderer, but I was that guy.
Yeah.
And I think for Easter I'm gonna wear a boonie hat and preach barefoot. Think I can get away with that?
Well, sure. Can I wear shorts that day?
You can wear shorts that day, and we're gonna take a family photo. My Easter photo of me barefoot with a boonie hat.
I don't think
My wife's not gonna let me.
I don't
wear
think my wife will let
My-
me wear.
my wife's not
yeah,
gonna let me do
she would.
that,
She wouldn't let me wear short. That day, I'll have to wear like a button-up shirt or
that. Yeah,
something.
me too.
But
I'm probably not. I may wear my Top Gun shirt. I don't know.
no, that's an idea.
Could wear a flamingo shirt.
I do have a Top Gun shirt.
Yeah. Yep. I found a Hawaiian shirt with flamingos all over it.
Oh, you should.
I might do that. I think we're out of time.
It's pretty much turned into our church mascot. So. But yeah,
That's something that
we
took
are.
on a life of its own.
Hey, just a reminder, Fuel tonight, youth are having a Dr. Seuss rap battle. I haven't decided if I will or will not participate and win.
I think you should participate.
I mean,
Hunter threw down the gauntlet last week and said nobody could beat him.
see, I haven't heard
My
that
son has been at home practicing his Dr. Seuss rap.
yet. Interesting.
It's definitely an
Interesting,
interesting
yeah.
take, and I love the thought behind it. So I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to hearing some of that tonight.
Yeah, groups, obviously Sunday we got coming up. Egg the City is on its way.
Yeah,
If you haven't checked out a tote, come grab you an egg tote. If you haven't volunteered, hey, we need lots of help that day. And I feel like that's off the top of my head, all the things that are going on. Next week, no back row pastors. We are
we
out
are
of
on
town.
spring
Well,
break. Jesus will be at the beach.
maybe we'll have a back row pastors. I highly doubt it.
I doubt it. I
But-
don't know what the baseball schedule is.
Yeah,
so I may not even be available.
I don't know either. But
We'll stream Jesus Revolution during back row pastor time.
there you go. 2 weeks from now, back row pastors, we're back.